The first thing the woman did after being reborn was to buy a bunch of gifts for her most hated biological daughter. But when the adopted daughter got home, she mistakenly thought the gifts were for her, so she took them all without hesitation. When the woman came home from work and saw what happened, she immediately went to the adopted daughter's room and told her to hand over the gifts. But the spoiled adopted daughter refused to believe the gifts were for the girl picked up from the trash. Even the woman's husband and mother-in-law supported the adopted daughter, saying the unwanted girl didn't deserve such nice things. But the woman kept a cold face and made her stance clear. The adopted daughter had taken someone else's belongings, and she had to return them right away. The husband quickly stepped forward to calm her down, but she shook him off without a second thought. She sternly warned the adopted daughter that the total value of the gifts exceeded $5 million, and if she refused to return them, she could easily end up in jail for a few years. Seeing how serious the woman was, the adopted daughter threw a tantrum, even dared her to call the cops if she had the guts. Unexpectedly, right after she said that, the police arrived on the scene. The adopted daughter instantly panicked and started crying like she was the victim. The husband and mother-in-law rushed to explain, saying it was just a family conflict and no one called the police. But the woman stood her ground, insisting that the adopted daughter had stolen valuable property and still refused to return it. The officers said the law doesn't show favoritism, and since a report was made, they had to investigate. Unless the person who reported it agreed to drop the case, the husband immediately begged the woman to withdraw the report. The mother-in-law also kept defending the adopted daughter. The woman knew it wasn't the right time to completely break ties, so she offered a condition. She said she would withdraw the report only if the adopted daughter returned every gift just as it was. Seeing the situation was turning against them, the mother-in-law urged the adopted daughter to cooperate and promised to buy her new ones tomorrow, knowing she couldn't get away without giving them back. The adopted daughter stormed off to her room and angrily threw the gifts on the floor. Once everything was returned, the woman agreed to cancel the report. The adopted daughter flew into a rage and stormed out of the house. The woman immediately called her secretary and told her to keep a close eye on the adopted daughter. Sure enough, the adopted daughter went straight to meet a rich playboy. She begged him not to break up with her and even tried to get him to teach the biological daughter a lesson. Meanwhile, the mother-in-law gave the adopted daughter $1,000,000, saying it was to prepare a birthday gift for the woman. But in reality, the adopted daughter planned to buy some cheap knockoff to brush it off. At the same time, the woman's secretary had already finished digging into the adopted daughter's background and handed all the information over to the woman. Seeing the long list of misdeeds in the report, the woman was filled with regret, regretful that in her previous life she had been fooled for so long. But this time, she wouldn't make the same mistake again, so she immediately instructed the secretary to rewrite the inheritance contract and give everything to her biological daughter. Soon the family inheritance announcement ceremony arrived. The adopted daughter walked in proudly with the family, basking in everyone's praise and admiration. But when the biological daughter appeared, the guests' expressions instantly changed, and they all looked at her with disdain. The adopted daughter was furious and yelled that the girl had no right to be there. She even publicly destroyed the gift the girl had prepared. The girl finally had enough and pushed her away. Just as the situation was about to spiral out of control, the woman arrived. The adopted daughter quickly stepped forward,